Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Plarium Play's calendar was updated and now we have confirmation. The Raphael guaranteed event, the Hothead Deck of Fate, it's coming next week, 14th of October until 18th of October. Earn fragments, summon a guaranteed legendary champion, Raphael. And this is also part of the April Titan event, so in this video I'm going to take a look at what all of this means. First, thank you Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video and for giving me this wonderful promo link. Down below in the description there in the QR code, new account with Deacon Armstrong after the tutorial, Uugo at 15, Tagoar at 20, Mausoleum Mage at 30, the best possible start to raid. And then the Titan event and Raphael Deck of Fate, what should you do now that we know that it's coming? So first of all, the Titan event, obviously, the Granite Path was such an expensive one, had so many points that kind of killed the Titan event already, because you need 1500 points for all the rewards and there's overall 1750 points available. 809 from the first part, that's coming to a close now, 710 from the second part, Raphael Deck of Fate is going to be part of that, and then 150 points in the last part and we don't yet know more about that one. So the first part relied heavily on that Granite Path because Heroes Path had 400 of those 890 points. Then there was Gear Hunters, Finite, a couple of gear enhancements, Dragon Turn Attack, Ice Golem, Shredder's Wrath and Champion Training and a Classic Arena. And now we have this calendar for part 2, Hothead Deck of Fate starting on Tuesday, Spider Tournament starting on Monday. There's going to be a Champion Chase, Shredder's Wrath, Finite Tournament, Classic Arena, Champion Training and another gear enhancement. Point values have not been revealed, they are not revealed until each event starts, but if we assign all of these events point values based on what they have been before, then we would get Spider Tournament 40, Finite Tournament 40, Shredder's Wrath would be 50, Gear Enhancement 60, Champion Training 100, Classic Arena 20 and Champion Chase would be 200, which would leave 200 points for the Deck of Fate, because these events should add up to 710 points. So either there's going to be a really big Deck of Fate, 200 points, or there might be a really big Champion Chase, even more than 200 points. I guess they could also distribute some of the smaller events, but probably not. And that means that April is very, very challenging to get, because think about it, you can miss 250 points. 400 from the path, 200 at least from the chase, 200 from the deck, and then there's that 150 last part that we don't even know about. What's that going to be yet? Are you able to get those? If you can't get those, then you could only afford to miss 100 points between Granite's Path, the Champion Chase, and Raphael's deck. Yeah, that looks very, very tough. But what about Raphael's deck? Well, you don't want to miss this one. Raphael's deck most likely is going to be Soul Stones plus Gear Hunters, because it overlaps a Champion Chase, it overlaps a Champion Training, and Gear Hunters is missing from this part too, so those seem like the most logical explanation. And then Leonardo event probably would be Shards if this one is Soul Stones, so hold on to your Shards. Leo overall is preferable to Raphael, but if at all possible you want them both. You want all the turtles if you can, especially let's say your account is younger than a year, then these are absolutely and completely, utterly account changing characters, so you really want the turtles. Once we have the full details, I will obviously report in detail what you're going to need, but we can speculate a little bit based on this Soul Stone Gear Hunters idea. So Deck of Fate, that's typically 40,000 points. Actually, I think they're always 40,000 points, and then they just adjust a little bit on how many points you get from the activities. Last time we had a Soulstone deck, it cost 8.9 Eternals, or 44.5 Immortals, or 445 Mortal Soulstones to complete. Mortal Soulstones were 90 points each, then there were 900 for the Immortals and 4,500 for the Eternals. However, some Soulstone decks have been more expensive. There have been Soulstone decks that give 60 points for a Mortal. There have been Soulstone decks that give 80 points for a Mortal. And last time we had 90. So they could adjust that one. Also, typically you can use energy, and assuming that it's Gear Hunters, you will be able to do Gear Hunter stuff. So if it's Gear Hunters, used to be called Dungeon Divers, then typically, that has also been adjusted at different times, it's been between 20% and 50% more points for the deck than it would be for a tournament, or for a Gear Hunters tournament. So that would mean that you would be able to get between 2.4, 3.5 points per energy, which would mean that completing the full deck with energy alone would cost around 11,500 to 16,700 energy. And of course you can combine this with soul stones, so let's say you have half of the needed soul stones, then you need something like 6,000 to 8,000 energy on top of that. So there are various ways to complete this, and obviously you can also flip Raphael before you have flipped all the cards. It's possible to get lucky too, but assuming that you need to go through the full deck, then that's the neighborhood of resources that you would need to spend. And for a turtle, that would be well worth it. So I can't wait for Tuesday. It's going to be so exciting, and we'll see. We'll see what the actual criteria, what the points are. I will do all the math for you, of course, as soon as we have the final numbers. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.